Hello and welcome back to Underlab. I've already made a video about the most evil character in Undertale, so you may be wondering what exactly the point of this is. Well, in that video I simply went over every character and judged how morally lacking they are. What I didn't consider is that there may be an evil force within Undertale that we're never even shown. No, I'm not referring to Gaster. I'll explain soon enough, but it occurred to me that there seems to be something truly evil within Undertale, and it's not as simple as something like players who go on the genocide route, or blaming it all on a character like Flowey. No, I think there's something deeper at the root of all the problems faced within the game. So without wasting time, let's just get straight into the theory, as we attempt to find out who really is the true antagonist of Undertale. A certain group of characters that many of us have completely forgotten about are the humans seen at the very beginning of the game. They're only mentioned in passing as being responsible for creating the barrier that seals monster kind underground. Apparently 7 magicians were responsible for the spell, and curiously enough it takes 7 human souls in order to break the barrier. What's confusing about this is that we learn throughout our travels in the underground that humans can't express themselves through magic. Humans have determination and that's all they need to carry on. So how exactly were humans able to use magic all those years ago? Why can they not now? There doesn't appear to be an answer to this, and it may simply seem like a plot hole. However, it goes much deeper, and the explanation for it may also be proof of where evil originates from within Undertale. Firstly, let's consider whether the Magi who sealed the monsters underground were truly evil. The humans were afraid of monsters due to their ability to absorb human souls, and as we see with Asgore Dreamer, that fear is actually somewhat justified. If a monster ever decided to go rogue and attack humanity, with every soul they claimed, they'd only grow stronger. Attacking the monsters out of fear alone though, still seems rather strange. There's many things that could have sparked the war off, such as the monsters having attacked humanity in the past. Watch my theory called Why the Monsters in Undertale Are Secretly Evil for an explanation as to how that works, and why I believe it's actually quite possible. Soul magic is a recurring concept throughout Undertale. It appears to be what the humans use to seal monster kind behind the barrier, and it's also what's required to in turn shatter the barrier. It's also what Alphys was studying within the True Lab in an attempt to find a way of breaking the barrier without having to resort to the use of 7 human souls. But what exactly is it? For some reason, human souls are more powerful than monster souls, most likely because of their ability to retain determination without turning to sticky goop. Determination then is the secret behind soul magic, but even then we don't really know what determination is. All of this I went over in my video called Why Are Human Souls So Powerful? With so much hinging on the importance of soul magic, you'd think it'd be more clearly explained somewhere within the game, but instead it's intentionally kept mysterious. I think there's a reason for that, as I'll get to soon enough. But firstly, let's look at the characters within Undertale who are morally ambiguous. Toby Fox says he doesn't believe any single monster within Undertale is evil, and you can see his logic. They all have motivation for doing what they do, and it's not steeped in anything truly malicious. However, I've noticed an ongoing theme between the most morally dubious characters. Firstly, let's look at Flowey. Flowey the Flower is what happens when you're full of determination but have no soul or empathy. That's why he roams around the underground, tormenting monsters and humans like you, rather than ending his own miserable life. He explains he wasn't able to kill himself as something held him back. This undoubtedly seems to be the determination flowing through his leafy veins. The only way he feels anything that makes him feel even remotely alive is when he upsets and hurts others. So what does this tell us about determination? If you have nothing but determination, you seem to naturally resort to being evil. A soul is required to temper your actions, to give you empathy and rationality. There's no other real reason given as to why Flowey is so cruel. Though he remembers being Asriel and clearly he was good-natured before his death, it appears to be entirely due to an excess of determination that he became so hateful. Let's look at the Amalgamates next. I wouldn't really call them evil, just confused and animalistic. Trapped within the True Laboratory, being treated like pets by their accidental creator Dr. Alphys, it's no wonder why they've reverted to behaving like beasts. Once again, the Amalgamates are proof of what an excess of determination can do to you, both physically and mentally. Originally, the Amalgamates were normal monsters like anyone else in the underground. However, after Alphys attempted to save their life by giving them a shot of determination on their deathbeds, they fused together and became the abominations they are today. Once again, we're able to figure out a little bit more about what determination might be based on what happened here. Monsters are beings of magical energy, and determination seems to conflict with magic. That appears to be what Alphys is getting at when she explains that monsters don't have the physical matter to hold determination. This throws yet another spanner into the works. If magic conflicting with determination explains the creation of the amalgamates, then how were human magicians in the past able to wield both? Is it possible that, like monsters, humans once only had magic, rather than the strange force that is determination? It doesn't seem too unlikely. Once again, like Flowey, the amalgamates exist only to survive. You'd think the strange mutations would beg for death, but instead they persist and attack the player on sight. Once again, like Flowey, it seems every time determination is involved, those who have too much of it are unable to control themselves. What about Asgore? Asgore certainly isn't your traditional villain. In fact, he isn't much of a villain at all. As king of Moofinseeker, he had to make a very difficult decision that resulted in his wife leaving him and what little remained of his life being ruined. Killing the humans was never something he wanted to do, but after they sealed Moofinseeker underground only to then kill his only son, you can understand why he might have been just a little ticked off. Once again, look at what was the cause of Asgore's dilemma. It all stemmed from the need to acquire 7 human souls to shatter the barrier, because of the determination they could sustain, unlike the souls of monsters. Asgore was driven to murder because he needed that single resource seemingly at the root of everything in Undertale, namely determination. Perhaps you're starting to notice the pattern here. Perhaps the most blatant example of what determination is truly capable of, though, is seen within the player themselves. It allows us to reload over and over and never truly die when we're defeated, a metaphorical way of showing that the human will never give up. While this is great on the true pacifist route as it means we can save Moofinseeker, on the genocide path it's a different matter entirely. Our determination results in the genocide of monsters, and then somehow awakens Chara, or Chara. I've discussed this before, but it seems like what we're confronted with isn't really Chara. After all we know about Chara is that they were a depressed child who hated humanity. We're never given the indication that they were some sort of all-knowing evil entity that could come back to life through determination alone. What this appears to be to me is a manifestation of determination itself, rather than the Chara Asriel once knew. It's possible that it's using the child's body to communicate with us. After all, from what we've observed so far, too much determination causes monsters to melt, for previously sane beings to lose their minds, and it creates power struggles stemming from the conflict between humans and monsters. It doesn't seem like too much of a stretch to believe that the embodiment of determination itself would be this evil possessed child who then goes on to corrupt the game. So what was the ongoing theme I mentioned between all of these characters that I mentioned earlier? All of their troubles seem to be rooted in some way in determination. Determination crops up time and time again as being intrinsic to everything negative that happens within the underground. Determination allowed Asriel to keep living past death in the body of Flowey, but for what reason? He felt nothing but hatred and soon found himself wanting to cause strife for others. The barrier the monsters were sealed behind can only be broken through the use of human souls, as they can persist after death, seemingly due to their determination. This led to Asgore declaring a second war, and his wife Frisk is attacked countless times throughout their journey. Lastly, determination is what keeps us going through the genocide path. It's the mindless, inexplicable drive to keep doing what we're doing despite it not making sense. In other words, to do it because we can. Many players are completionists, but games rarely award us for completing every last feature. Why then would we go on the genocide path when we know nothing but a bad time awaits us? It seems that our own determination to see the game fully completed is what led many players to completing the sadistic route. What am I really getting at here then? Well, it seems that the mysterious power that is determination is the closest thing to a villain within Undertale. Everyone else is a sympathetic, tragic character who could easily have been the protagonist of their own game if Undertale wasn't shown from the human's perspective. Determination, however, is a force beyond understanding. Its exact characteristics are never explained, keeping it utterly mysterious as we're left to wonder what exactly makes the little human we play as so determined. I think determination simply represents the fact they're being controlled by someone else, namely us, the player. That's why at the end of the genocide route, Chara takes over. Chara is now the main player, so to speak, and though we never encounter them outside of the game's endings, they become a permanent presence ready to take over whenever they want to after completing the genocide route. As I said though, that doesn't really seem to be Chara. Instead, it's a manifestation of determination, the controlling force within the world that seems to represent the compulsion we have as players to complete everything within video games, even when it results in a depressing, morbid ending like that of the genocide path. The true villain of Undertale is no one specific character, it's that inexplicable underlying force known as determination. Determination is what makes the genocide route possible, and is what keeps the monsters trapped underground. Could it be that humanity only became determined after allowing irrationality to take over when they sealed the monsters underground? That may also be when they lost the ability to use magic. As I mentioned before, irrationality is an ongoing theme whenever determination is involved. Flowey and the Amalgamates lost their sense of empathy and logic, having been subjected to determination. And we have to remember that humans are apparently full of this stuff. Don't get me wrong though, it seems that it can be used for good as well, as we see with the true pacifist route. Determination has to be used responsibly, used to do the right thing rather than going about killing every monster we come across. So remember, stay determined, just not too determined. Who knew that our own sense of willpower and persistence could manifest itself as the epitome of evil? Well, maybe only in the world of Undertale. It's hard to say exactly what determination is, but I do feel it's most likely an analogy towards our compulsion for completing video games, no matter what the cost. Tell me what you think in the comments. Is determination the underlying cause of evil within Undertale? Or is it merely a force that's abused by those with ill intent? It could very well be a bit of both. Anyhow, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Try not to wake up in the middle of the night with freaky red eyes under the control of Chara, and I'll see you next time.